In this section, we're going to talk about 16th note triplets. Now, I got to be honest, this is one of my all-time favorite note values, and a note value I didn't even really understand for a long time into my drumming. So if you're just starting out, or you've been playing for a while, you need to study 16th note triplets. It's just an awesome note value that works well in so many different styles of music. Okay, so what are 16th note triplets, and how do we count them? 16th note triplets, as they relate to quarter notes, okay, let's talk about that. Let's say you have one quarter note, that equals 6 16th note triplets. Okay, so in the time it takes you to play one quarter note, you have to play 6 16th note triplets. So that's a lot of notes to fit into one count. Now, how many 16th note triplets are in one bar of music? The answer is 24, right? Okay, you have 6 notes per count. You have 4 counts per bar, right? We have 4 quarter notes, so that would be 6 times 4 equals 24. Again, I don't want to get too lost in the math of it, but I really want you to understand that, how 16th note triplets are crammed into a bar, and how the spacing works, and how at 60 beats per minute, how much faster it sounds, how much faster it is to play them than just playing simple quarter notes or eighth notes or anything like that. Now, I do want to mention one thing, and that is 16th note triplets aren't necessarily faster than quarter notes all the time. It's the tempo that makes things fast or slow. So you could have a whole song at a tempo of 60 beats per minute and play 16th note triplets, and that's going to be a certain speed. Then you can have a whole song at 300 beats per minute using quarter notes, and that could sound very, very similar. They would sound very, very similar. So just don't let that fool you as far as, oh, they're way faster. They're always way faster. It's all relating back to the time and the tempo that we're playing it at. Now, I don't normally count 16th note triplets when I play them, but there is a way to do it if you really want to count something out slowly. So what I do is I go 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 3 triplet and triplet, 4 triplet and triplet, 1. Okay, so it's a lot to say, and usually they're played relatively fast, and so that's why I kind of don't count them. Another way you can count them is you can just count the triplets in there, the 1 and 2 and Okay, so it would sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So basically, you're counting all the notes that are being played with your right hand or your lead hand. Now, the final way you can count these is you can just count the eighth notes if you want. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it doesn't really matter how you count them. It's just really, really important that you do, so you know where you are within each click of that metronome. Okay, so take a look at exercise 1. You'll see how they're actually illustrated on the page. So you see each count is divided, and you have 6 notes per count. Now, I'm playing these just with alternating hands, right, left, right, left. I'm going to play all these exercises for you guys at 60 beats per minute, and then again at 100 beats per minute. And now, the 100 beats per minute is a little bit ambitious, especially for someone just starting out. So if you are advanced, you've been playing for a while, or you're a high intermediate, I would say use 100 beats per minute as your level that you need to complete these at before moving on. If you're just starting out and you're a beginner, I would say choose a tempo of 80 beats per minute. So learn them at 60 nice and slow, and then get them up to 80. Once you've mastered them at 80 beats per minute for 2 minutes straight, then you're ready to move on to the next one. I just don't want you guys to get lost in this and end up spending 6 months on 2 of these exercises just to develop the speed, because it's more important that you understand how they relate to music than it is the speed of them, because speed is going to come over time. Speed is something that you can train yourself. It's more of muscle development. It's not necessarily the technical knowledge associated with drumming. Okay, so let's try exercise 1 at 60 and 100 beats per minute. In exercise 2, we're going to start moving these 16th note triplets around the kit. So 6 on the snare, 6 on the high tom, 6 on the mid, and then 6 on the low. Now the challenge here, especially once you get up to those faster tempos, are doing your 6 notes on the floor tom and then coming back to the snare. But this is really good, just kind of getting you moving this note value around the kit. So really practice that. And you'll make some mistakes. You'll drop some sticks. Hopefully you don't hit your wrist and hurt yourself. But there are going to be those situations where you struggle, especially from the floor tom to the snare drum. So just don't worry about that. Just practice, 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 and it will all come in time. So I'm going to play this for you guys at 60 and 100 beats per minute. Now we're going to turn these 16th note triplets into an actual groove. We're going to put both of our hands in the hi-hat and just play alternating strokes. Your right hand is going to come down to hit the snare on counts 2 and counts 4, with the bass drum on counts 1 and counts 3. And this is a very cool, very funky sounding groove that I know you guys are going to love. So I'll play it at 60 and 100 beats per minute. Number 4 might look exactly the same as number 3, and it might sound exactly the same depending on how you play it. But what you might hear is that both of those grooves have a different texture. Look at the sticking on number 4. I put the sticking as right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. Okay, so play that on the hi-hat and then just bring your right hand down to hit the snare on counts 2 and 4. What you're going to notice is if you take away the left hand, the groove sounds like this. So you're just basically throwing in those 16th note triplets with your left hand, and it gives the groove a completely different dynamic, and it's awesome. So I'll play it for you guys at 60 and 100 beats per minute. So in the last exercise, we're going to go from a beat into a fill. And in the beat, we're going to use our right, left, left, right, left, left sticking. And in the fill, we're just going to use straight single strokes, right, left, right, left, right, left, and go down the drums. Again, the hardest part is going to be coming from the floor tom back to the beat. So start that nice and slowly at 60 beats per minute and work your way up to 80 before you move on to the next section. So that is how you count 16th note triplets. Remember what I said at the beginning about our progress report, okay? I don't need you to do them all the way up to 100 beats per minute, but I do need you to get them at 80 beats per minute for 2 minutes each before moving on to the next section. All right, the next section is how to count 30-second notes. I'll see you there.